Good morning, everybody. Hi, Les. Hi, Betty.
Good morning.
So I'd like to call to order the Thursday, January 18th, 2024 meeting of the Parks and Community Services Committee. Thank you all for being here. Before we start, I'd like to say a special thank you to Public Works and all those who helped keep us safe over the weekend. That was a wild, wild ride. So thank you so very much. Thank you. And then if you want to introduce our new.
So we got a new teammate, Sherry Scotland. She's our new Public Works Admin Assistant.
Yay! Happy to have you, Sherry.
Wish her luck.
We're a friendly group. So first off, we have approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of Thursday, December 21st, 2023.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes?
Aye.
Great. Great, thank you so much. Now public comment. Do we have any public comment today? No? All right, thank you very much. First off, well, we'll start right away with 2024 officer nomination and election. So every year in January, committees choose their officers. So
I
it's
nominate Stacy Benefield as Chair of the Parks and Community Service Committee.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
second.
Oh, thank you. Any discussion?
Thank you for all you do, Stacy.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you very
Yes.
much. Thanks. Okay. We'll vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you very much. Thank you. And now for vice chair.
I nominate Les Sinclair.
I second.
Great. Thank you. Any discussion on that?
Thank you, Les, for
Thank
all
you,
you
Les.
do.
Well, thank you.
So all in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you very much. So next up is monthly state of the parks, AJ and Kirk. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning, everyone. The first thing that I did since the last meeting was the tsunami sign at Whale Park. I talked with Rick Hudson, the safety manager, the head of the safety. And we've found a new spot for it, which is directly behind where it was in the grass area. And now it's more, I'd say, more visible to traffic from both directions. And so, and it takes it out of the flower bed that you were requesting.
Well, thank you. That was very prompt attention to that sign, but I think what my understanding was that the visual looking out to the ocean when you came into town was what was being asked, and I could be wrong, but now, and I noticed that it just seems like it came out of the flower box and just got put behind it on a taller post, and that kind of defeated what the ask was, which was to move it out of the sight of the line of sight to the ocean. And I've
I see what you mean.
seen some of the signs put on the receptacles. And I wondered if maybe that would be a possibility at that location, as it would serve the purpose of having it at Whale Park. And then also it would be visible to people that are throwing their trash away, which is what we want. So while I hate that, I guess I didn't realize it was going to happen so soon. And my notes say that Bruce, Gary, and Jan were going to talk with Rick Hudson and come up with a spot. So
Okay.
I,
It's easily movable if it needs to be. I talked with Rick and he said, yeah, it needs to be somewhere that's highly visible. So not somewhere that can be missed if you're walking by.
I'll mention it to Rick one more.
So,
yeah, I think on the east side of that, because I've been looking, where do you put it that it's not just going to be in the line of sight there of the ocean. But I know that in my walks, I've seen one on a trash receptacle. So I thought, well, maybe that
I'll mention it to him.
It's an option.
Department head, it's his.
Yeah, right, right.
I'll
So,
mention to it one more time and mention.
well, and hate to have it be a thorn, but now it just seems like it's just sticking up even more.
I'll mention it one more time to him and see if
Okay,
he has any more thoughts on it.
okay. Thank you, Trevor.
I'm just curious, where's the one on a trash receptacle? I'm just.
No, I can't find it now that I've seen it. So I've been looking, but it's been icy. So it's on my list.
Is it not in Tolovana Wayside? Not something state parks did?
No, because I went and looked there because I thought maybe it was there, but
I don't-
no, it's on a presidential street.
Huh.
And I cannot think of it. And
Can't picture it either.
But I'll take a pic of it and make a note of it when I come across it.
Okay.
We got all the Christmas lights removed. I've started washing some of the trail signs that are kind of growing algae. Haven't gotten to all of them yet, but started it. I've been working on the irrigation plan and getting more things finalized for the plan for the main park. The Logan Street Beach access. I think it's what Maher Street also. I
Yeah.
widened it a little bit because it keeps kind of sliding off or. So I widened it and brought it up and re-chipped it, put new bark chips down on it. And then other than that, we've just been doing storm cleanup and the
That-
past storm that we had before this ice storm, so. And then going around cleaning up stuff and
And I'll just add one thing to the storm cleanup is that Joe Birch is gonna be coming into town because we have several widow makers all throughout the community here. And I'm sure you've seen the piles that we've been creating. He's gonna be going around town chipping all that up, so we're gonna be all throughout this community. Joe will be climbing trees, getting rid of widow makers because that's caused some branches to break and now they're stuck up in the tree and it's not safe for my guys to cut them down. So you're gonna be seeing that, okay?
Thank you.
And there's a lot of piles around town that are gonna be cleaned up very soon,
Yeah, you'll see the piles that
chipping, chip them all.
Great.
we know about them.
Anything to add?
Well, between covering vacations and, 5 holidays and my weekend duties, I haven't done anything in the parks. It's fun.
Thank you, Kirk.
Yeah,
Thank God it. Thank God.
Oh, back today. People's.
Yeah.
Been pretty busy on the week, busier than usual on the weekends, but that's about it.
Except probably not this last weekend with,
Well, did a lot of walking
yeah.
and walking out and
Yeah.
juggling vehicles and
Uh,
Saturday morning I had to do the pump stations down in Tolovana, so I had the wherewithal to get in my wife's Toyota Corolla and take off at 6 o'clock and do those before anything started.
Uh.
I switched trucks and did a 180 in the work truck and thought I better park everything and
wow.
I walked around a bit too, but anyway.
Could you stay upright on the sidewalks and stuff?
I walked slow. My house to the recycle and back and
Yeah,
out to the wastewater plant and walk on the edge on the frozen grass wasn't too bad, but the gravel was extremely.
it was
I've
terrible.
Like that before. I thought the gravel would be the easy part.
Yeah.
It was worse than the asphalt, but
But then it was bumpy ice.
it was slick as could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah.
But and these guys let me open and close late and
Good.
it all worked out. I didn't have wasn't very busy at recycle.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be. Nobody dared leave their houses. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks so much.
I just wanted to say, I noticed the over by the school on the west side there, that little clump of trees, that looks really nice, how it's cleaned up, and I like how it was mulched all over that was left there. That was,
Who must have done that?
that was great.
Yeah.
Just leaving it right there like that.
Great. That was a removal that we had, a permit we went through and it turned out really nice, I thought.
That's nice and
Cleaned it up.
cleaned up and, yeah,
The wood chips was another great idea.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah,
And I just spread them all out underneath there.
that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the tree focus group. Last, you want to address that?
You want to do the road?
Tree removals.
Oh, you mean I skipped it? Yes, right away tree removal. Sorry about that.
Any questions on that one?
Yeah, Trevor, this is Les. Is this the big tree that's been debated so much?
No, this is not the big tree. This is their driveway access. The only place they can put their driveway access on this property since that big tree is been determined to save. So they push their driveway access all the way over to the west side to avoid the root structure of the massive tree that they're gonna save on their property. And this is the corridor, not only for the driveway, but all of our utilities are gonna have to be shoved through that west side of the property there. So that's gonna be disturbed heavily in that area.
They found
To avoid the structure of the massive tree that is being saved
it's
on private property. And once this is all said and done and construction activities complete, this is another good location to plant some trees back in our right of way there and make it look a little better than what exists there today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yep.
Any other questions about the right-of-way trees that I decided to skip over? Oh, okay, now we'll go to tree focus group, Les.
All right, thank you. The status of the current draft of the tree protection code that we've been working on is it has been run by Bill Cabesman, who is our land use attorney for the city, and had some really, really good input on it that we've incorporated. We've got, or the group has got is going to speak to code enforcement, and I believe Chief Schermerhorn as well, about how enforceable the enhanced protections that we're suggesting are going to be. That meeting is next week. And so I am actually pretty confidently optimistic that we're close to being ready to bring it to this group. Stacy, I think what we talked about was maybe even as early as February.
Yeah, hopefully.
So that's kind of where we're at. Things are looking pretty promising. I hope that you like it as much as I like it.
Thank you, Les.
Thank you.
Okay, next is community grants. Did everybody have a chance to look at the packet? And if so, does anybody have any changes? Yes, to change.
There's one section that I highlighted
Okay.
on the letter.
Okay.
It was, because I cannot remember what we talked about, where the previous one said award checks will be distributed in person at the community grant ceremony.
Right.
Around Labor Day, but we're actually moving it up a month.
Right.
So, that obviously the Labor Day one, but I can't remember what we decided about.
We haven't fully decided. What we've discussed is maybe tying the award, well, the giving of the check into a, one of the Thursday night concerts.
Okay.
Or one of Tolovana Art Colony's concerts in the park. So it'd be a little more fun than just having like a potluck that nobody shows up for.
So we can change it to say something like, checks will be should be awarded in the month of August, or, just so that they know when they get their
Yeah.
checks. And then when we send, when we do the interview, I mean, there's so many processes we have lots of chances to tell them what we planned. So do you want me to just change it to the anticipated date of checks will be awarded, or we anticipate the checks will be awarded in August?
That'd be perfect.
Okay.
You guys all okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So any other changes that you would like to see in the application? I think we figured out the timeline. Thank you, Jen, last month. So. No? Okay.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
I texted Les last night because last year when Tessa sent out our packets, they were different than the year before. And they were more difficult at least for me to process. And Les, do you remember how you got that to go back to the way we had it before?
Oh, yeah. Betty, thank you. And I saw your text and then, sorry, I slept. What Tessa did was when we got all of the packets together, she combined them all into one PDF document.
Oh, that's right.
And I wasn't, this came up just last night, Jen, if you remember at the planning meeting about how you can put tabs and
Oh, yeah.
easily maneuver. Well, we're just learning that, and I didn't realize it at the time. So what Tessa actually did was she went back and split them all back out into individual files, which worked better for us last year.
Yeah.
But that was the change.
Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't remember.
So when we get them this year, do you want them as individual PDFs?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Or if you just tab them the way,
Because the amount of them, I think we usually do it through the file transfer system,
Right.
so we can do it both ways because we have to make it into one PDF anyways, because that's what goes to council. And it's just easier for me to deal with one PDF. So when we do the file transfer, we'll do them all individually and we'll have one PDF and you can choose which way you download it.
perfect,
Okay.
Thank you.
perfect. Bob?
I don't know, am I allowed to make a comment at this point as a member of the public rather than member of the committee?
Well, we had public comment, so is this about community grants or,
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
I realized, I wanted to remind you that when we had the presentation of those grant checks at a potluck, that was an opportunity for each of the granted organizations to make a short presentation about
Right.
what they do. And
Right.
I think that was something worth having in our year, and when you recombobulate how it's going to be done, I think it would be of value to keep that, whenever it's done.
Yeah, that way people can see what those
Along
organizations
with the fact that
do.
it's always good to have an excuse for potluck, but
Yeah, except for people have not been attending, and so that's been the issue, so, and it can't be a potluck anymore, it has to be a different kind of event, so thank you though, because I think it is beneficial for everybody to hear the good work that all these nonprofits do. So, thank you.
Didn't we talk about maybe putting out some information lists? I don't know if we did talk about it, but said your name because you're the marketing guy, but just making sure the community knows when we do listen to the grant recipients that they're going to be presenting to us, and it's also a chance for the public to listen to what their organizations are doing. So, there would be another chance, if not through a potluck, that the public could hear. But maybe just a little tag that says
Little blurb.
that Parks Committee will be listening to grant applicants on such and such date.
We could do
I think that's a good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
We don't have an official bulletin newsletter like we had in the past just because of staffing, but when we have announcements, we've been doing that, but we can add that as one of them beforehand. Once council approves them, we can just do a quick write up on each
Yeah.
one, add that into a notice, and then we can also say the grants, checks will be presented at, the third Thursday, whatever, so we
So
can.
to give a couple opportunities for people
Yeah.
to
hear.
make schedules.
Sounds good.
But
Anything else for community grants? Nope, okay, thank you very much. Next, we have heritage trees. I think Trevor, you have a little update on that.
Update on this. So Jeff Gearhart was able to go out and take a look at the Sitka spruce that was nominated by you guys. And unfortunately, he found some defects with the tree. And he's not recommending that it be a heritage tree. About 20 feet up the tree, there's a codominant stem that has been created. So two stems, two treetops pretty much. And he noticed internal decay is suspected due to a noticeable cavity. So that was bad news. Let me look at the tree closer to Fifth Street there, the Sitka spruce that kind of has a little western lean to it. So he took a look at that one. He came back out and looked at that tree, and unfortunately that tree's in the same condition as the first applicant.
does he anticipate that we're going to need to take down those trees?
I asked him about
Okay.
that. I asked him about that. Is there anything I need to be worried about right now? Do I need to remove a section of that tree? And he says, not at this time. So we're just gonna keep an eye on
How
it.
long does he think that tree will be able to sustain living and.
I think for quite a while, but it's fortunately a section of that trees.
That the heritage trees, I mean, are we gonna, I mean, we could say that about any tree in town. You know, we could find a defect, so I don't know.
But the
Maybe
one,
we need to set what sort of defects are gonna eliminate trees consideration and the length of time that they're gonna be able to stand. You know, I mean, I guess potentially no tree would be eligible because all trees from ice or wind or whatever natural element could falter. So, you know, this brings up a good point and maybe something that we need to look at in the program is just that part of consideration. Because given that, I mean, that tree's been there for so long and to hear that, now I feel like what tree is gonna really be eligible?
And when we started this program, you know, we all, at that time, we all knew that it was gonna be finding the needle in the haystack for the
Right,
heritage tree,
right?
that species. And unfortunately, our arborist is not recommending that that tree be a heritage.
That's
tree.
surprising. I mean, I thought that tree was healthy as heck and
we were so
was,
excited.
could withstand anything.
Yeah,
So I guess we need to go back to the drawing board then and try to determine what tree is going to stand forever and not have any disease or
So I was-
ailment that would somehow in the future, I guess, topple it, which is what he's saying that, you know, an unknown amount of time, and this tree is gonna fall over and then we won't have a heritage tree. So is that really enough? So we need to find the guidelines that know that tree is gonna fail within a year, so that's not eligible. So I think that would be something to ask the arborist, you know, is,
proposing that we maybe do another field trip, and that was fun. So maybe at the next Parks Committee meeting, let's figure out a location
Yeah,
and let's get out of here for a little while. Go.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
you know, and it also brings up when we had Mr. Rasmussen and asking for the grove of trees, and that's something that we talked about up on Spruce, is that, so if we or hear a nomination for a grove of trees, I mean, how are you gonna go in there and say, well, this tree is gonna fail, this tree, I mean, when you're looking at the whole picture, so.
At this time, we're not doing groves, we're doing.
So I realize that, but it's been brought up twice before, so I potentially see that as a possible
Well,
candidates.
and when we set up the program, we set it up for the finest, you know, the best example of the species or
Where
whatever.
are you gonna
And
find a
so
better
we need,
I don't
so,
know.
so as we move through this process, then we do need to make those determinations. I mean, I mean, we set up the heritage trees. We
Yeah.
need to determine
So-
what,
Yeah.
you know, if
So
we
that's
have
what we need-
any other
Yes,
parameters.
we need to go back to the drawing board, I would say, to determine what the livability of a tree and determining its potential designation.
So if you're up to it, next Parks Committee, let's discuss the site and then we'll set a date for it.
Let's do it.
Let's do a little field trip.
That'd be awesome.
And
Yeah.
we'll get another one.
So keep
And-
your eyes open, everybody. All of you who are in town.
Stacy, I mean, I completely hear what Anita's talking about, and you know, these are the kind of things that I think we kind of thought were going to crop up when we finally got a tree to. So, what I would be willing to do is go back to the body of literature that Betty and I gathered together originally. If you recall, it was quite a bit.
It was.
And look specifically at some of the things that I think Anita has brought up. You know, were there some embedded criteria for what's acceptable, and maybe we can turn that around and provide it back to this group, at least as information.
That'd be great.
Great.
Thank
One of
you.
the- One
We
of the
didn't know.
One of the things that I am concerned about is the fact that climate change is going to make Sitka spruce. It's one of the trees that might not survive the next millennium. I mean, it's a tree that needs a colder climate. So I don't know how we're going to deal with that issue too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know cedars are supposed to be able to withstand our new climate, but I haven't heard any good news about Sitka.
And if it's appropriate, you know, I don't mind if you guys want to have Jeff Gerhard attend one of the meetings, really. You guys can discuss with him.
Okay,
No problems with that. Just let me know. So.
okay, I'll let you, yeah,
Heads up.
okay, that'd be great. That'd be helpful.
Discuss this in any further detail. I'd like to have him involved with that discussion.
Great idea. Thank you. Well, so we'll look forward to hearing whatever you guys find, maybe for next month, if you have time for that.
That's what I was thinking. We'll try to get
Okay.
something into the packet,
Okay, that sounds great.
if Betty's okay with that.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much.
Trevor, could you remind me again what Jeff said about the tree not being eligible? So it has two,
Co-dominance.
So dominant, stems approximately 20 feet up. Internal decay is suspected to noticeable cavity.
we could get a copy of that report. That would be great.
It wasn't a report.
Oh,
Yeah. I didn't do an official report on it because if it's gonna, I'll do an official report if it's passes the gusto,
but,
an official report.
but I'd like to see his report if I could get a copy
It
of it.
was just an email.
Okay,
So you want to see the email?
yeah, just so I could see, I'm trying to write this down, but
You know, I'll just have Jeff do an official report on it. So then it's official.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think we nominated it, didn't we? And based on his,
No, we didn't nominate based on his. We just nominated, we were at the park looking at the strawberry tree.
we were
And-
going to nominate it if his report was
We did
favorable.
nominate it, but not based on him, based on that we wanted it and then we were waiting for the
Okay,
report
so,
back.
After it was nominated, then we hired Jeff, look at it.
okay, so it was nominated.
It was nominated.
Okay, and then, so that's where we should have a report that says why it cannot be considered. So, and that's what I would like a copy of.
Yeah, I'll get a report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
I remember in the city council tweaking the tree ordinance in the early nineties and Tim Lindsay was the building official and he's the guy who at that time granted the tree permits and he reminded the council that no tree is forever. Every tree dies and falls over.
Right,
Right.
right.
Kind of like,
That's what I'm saying is we need to find, what hazards are just a automatic, there's no question. Not whether, sometime in the near future, which didn't sound like Jeff was saying that.
Okay. Anything else for heritage trees? All right, thank you very much. Betty, do you want to talk about the cleanup this month? Please?
Sure. So this month we're going to go back to the nature trail. And actually a couple of people have emailed me and said how nice the trail is looking. Thank you, those of you that are working in on those third Saturdays every month, 10 to noon. This month it'll be back at the nature trail, and we're going to be meeting on 2nd Street near the Pompey ponds. So hopefully everybody can come out. Bring your friends. It's a lot of fun.
And hopefully it's not too wet.
Yeah.
do you need me to do anything, Betty? Like, are you gonna be whereabouts on the Sioux Lagoon Trail? I assume you're talking about.
Yes, yes.
I have opened the gateway up by the wastewater plant. You going that far or are you working down towards the 2nd Street?
I'm going to defer to Stacy since Stacy was there last month. And where do you think we're going to be meeting,
I
Stacy?
think we're going to kind of stay where we were last time, right by the parking lot.
Good.
We'll try and if we can, we'll try and put all the debris
That was
in
fine.
that same spot because I think that was pretty easy to access, right, for you guys? Okay,
Have it with the, so you guys may be around the treatment plant?
Not that far.
Okay.
They're more towards.
Got some trees down in there that we got to get cleaned up, so.
yeah, kind of right in the beginning of the
Yeah.
trail.
You can even feel free to use one parking space
Oh, okay,
this time of year.
yeah,
Because who cares?
it is pretty quiet out there.
It's easy to pick up. Anyway.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you. And thanks again, Betty, for sending the text out to remind everybody and appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay, so next is 12 Days of Earth Day. I would like to make a suggestion if you guys are okay with it. Last month, I think it was last month, had set the date from the 11th to the 22nd of April for our 12 days. I would request that we actually go from the 10th to the 21st. And then we could take advantage of a nature talk that Friends of Haystack Rock will be giving on April 10th. And they'd love to partner with us that. So are you guys okay if we shift the dates by a day? I know that means we won't actually have the event, anything on Earth Day, but we'll have lots of things up to that.
And Earth Day's Monday, so not very many people would be able to probably do much on
Yeah.
on a Monday.
Are you okay with that?
I'm in favor.
Okay, awesome. And also I was speaking with Zoe Swain from the History Center. And they have a talk on April 18th with Bonnie Henderson, and they'd love to partner with us on that. So things are kind of starting to fill in a little bit, which is awesome.
Great, yeah.
Other thing, Barb is more than happy to work on the shred event as well as the tree planting again for the elementary school. If you guys are okay with her scheduling that.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Absolutely.
please.
Awesome. We can do this in the future, but there are 2 Fridays during the 12 days that we could choose for the event, either the 12th or the 19th for a shred event on a Friday. So, anyway, we can pick that date. The other thing I wanted to mention is I spoke with Angela Benton from Friends of Haystack Rock, and they've been approached about hosting a film on Hasita Bank. I didn't know what Hasita Bank was. And so I looked it up, and it is a rocky shelf about 15 miles long and 10 miles wide. Was formed over thousands of years. It's right near Florence, Oregon, by the way. As a result of plate tectonics where the ocean's crust pushed below the continental crust and elevated it upward. Overall, it's really craggy and rough looking, which makes it the perfect habitat for critters like Dungeness crab and rockfish. Over the years, fishermen realized this and took advantage of the abundance of rockfish and other species here. So much so that in 2006, an essential fish habitat conservation area was established because of how overfished much of the area had become. So Oregon State has put together a film. The Oregon State University Marine Studies Initiative has a film. They've done a short called Hasita Bank, Oregon's Hidden Wonder. And they would like to do a special screening presenting one of Oregon's unique coastal habitats. A short film featuring Oregon State University scientists and rare underwater footage. And after the film, they would have a Q&A. They'd have people from Oregon State available for question and answer. So Friends of Haystack Rock would love to partner with us on that during 12 days, if you guys are willing to consider that.
I have no
I
problems
think
with that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'd be great.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Okay, so I'll let Angela know and we can start working on a date and a location. So it could be really interesting, could be
Yeah.
really fun, actually. So it's nice to see things kind of lining up
Mm-hmm.
for our event this year.
Yeah, that's great.
So that leads me to the handbook, the 12 Days of Earth Day handbook. Did anybody notice any changes they'd like to make, or do we just need to change the dates and make that available for the 2024 handbook?
I haven't, been a part of this the last few years, like,
Right.
we worked on the development and then COVID hit.
Right.
So do we put dates in the handbook, or is this a generic handbook that we use every year?
Well, this one that I see here says Parks and Community Services Committee, City of Cannon Beach, 2023. So there'd probably maybe just be a few date changes that would need to happen, like on the cover. But we could also just not have a date on it. I mean, if it's just going to kind of stay the same.
Yeah, because we can take it off there
Yeah.
and just have our, like, the date that it was last updated at the
Yeah.
bottom, and just have it kind of change.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Ken's got a point because there's no dates inside it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
That'll make it,
Sorry.
that'll make it better.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I think.
Yes.
Every year, just make the dates on the cover.
And then one of the things I noticed was, because I know that the volunteer waivers have morphed over the years. Like the first year we had a waiver, we had a volunteer waiver, an insurance waiver, and a COVID waiver. So the one that, there's two in here, but one literally has the same thing as the other.
Okay.
So that shorter one says everything that's on the bigger one. So I'd like to just get rid of that shorter one.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's make it easy.
Yeah, so that way it's just, because at first we had like a checklist of, did you do this waiver, this waiver, this waiver? We don't, you know.
Yay.
Yeah, so let's remove the short one. We just have the main one. And then I'm wondering if we should just put a note somewhere on here that, you know, somewhere that says all participants must complete this waiver. Feel free to make copies. Just kind of let them know they can just make copies and hand it out. Because that way it'll be in their packet and they can just move forward.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yes.
What-
Oh, Les?
Oh, well, and I think Betty are gonna ask the same question. We had talked about that if they filled out a waiver last year, that really, and nothing changed, that really all they needed to do was copy it and change the date. I believe that's right. Could we include that kind of instruction as well? Is that what you were thinking, Betty?
Well, just some way to make it easier for our return attendees. Jan does a lion's amount of work to get her, I think, 3 different nonprofits. So she ends up filling out all those forms. So some way to streamline it for people that are returning would be great.
Well, maybe that's something we have in conversation instead of putting in the book, like suggesting them photocopy it each year and change dates. That could be something that we can say, hey, you do this every year. Why don't you just keep one and photocopy it? And because it just doesn't quite sound handbookish.
Mhm.
That's just.
Yeah, yeah. You guys okay with that?
Yes.
What Jen suggested? Great. Okay. Jen, did you have a
I
question?
just had a question about the street fair date. Did we say it was a certain date yet?
Yeah, it's the 20th.
Okay.
Let me double check, but I think,
420.
yeah,
Yes, the
420,
20th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the street fair, the 20th.
the 20th.
Okay.
I mean, I think we could do it the 13th, but I think we decided to do it the 20th.
Closer to the day, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else for 12 days?
Yeah, Stacy, I've got a few comments. Bob, I
Uh-huh.
saw you raise your hand, though. I'm willing to wait.
It's brief. I came to say that if you would like me to wrangle the parade, I will again.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you,
Good.
Bob.
I
So
would-
the theme for 12 days, oh, sorry, Betty, didn't see.
Oh, no, I was just thinking I would love to have Tom help Bob if that would, so that somebody on the committee would learn how to do it.
That's great.
Mhm.
Good suggestion, Betty. Thank you. Okay, Les.
Oh, so the theme for 2024 Earth Day is plastics. I think they're calling it planet versus plastics. And so, Bob, I remember you had talked to me previously about, trying to incorporate plastic themed events. And so I would encourage us as a group to maybe think about that a little bit, because that aligns with the National Earth Day initiative. And then Sherry, I haven't met you yet, but you're going to be my best friend here for a while. Last meeting, we talked about the city website for 12 days, and I have been working on that. And so I would like to maybe get with you and start updating it for 2024. I've got some thoughts kind of put together already, but I'm not quite ready to share it. But so you can look for that pretty quickly. Anyway, I think that's it. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what the official theme was, because we really haven't addressed ocean plastics that much.
Yeah, we haven't.
Except for, of course, the Sea Turtles Unlimited.
Right.
Okay, Bob?
To clarify, I recognize that the plastics in the ocean are a huge issue. I have raised some objections to putting very much effort into sitting a square meter at a time of the beach, and as far as the amount of effort and the amount of return on that, just to be clear on that.
All right, well, thank you. Okay. Anything else? All right, then we'll go to good of the order. Does anybody have anything for good of the order today? Nope. Well, I just want to say thank you again. Thanks to Public Works. Thanks to everybody for being here and